Hey, so today we're going to be talking about the new NetSuite Analytical Warehouse integration with Domo. And we're going to walk through how to set this up. And so at the end of the day, you're able to connect your Oracle NetSuite Analytical Warehouse to your Domo instance and have real-time analytics flow through into Domo. So let's start off. The first thing is we need to be an admin in our NetSuite instance, and we also need to have NSAW access. You can easily check if you have this by coming to Setup, Company, Enable Features. And this will be a feature in the Analytics tab. So we'll just wait here 1 second. And then we'll come here to Analytics. And then if you do have NSAW access, this should show up and you'll just check it. And basically it just says, hey, like you're able to configure NSAW. So once you have that, then you'll be able to configure NSAW. And the way I got to here is I came over here to Setup. Setup Integrations and then Configure. And for the first time you come to this screen, there'll be a button to say Create NSAW, and then you'll be able to transfer data, create new users, log into NSAW here as well. And so for data transfer, if we come here to look at mine, there's different functional areas that you can send over to your analytical warehouse. And so in this case, I think I have all of them sent over. Yeah, but in this case, you can select the ones that you want, order to cash, financials, whatever, and then you're able to transfer the data for the first time. Once you've done that, usually it'll take around 24 hours to get NSAW set up. But once you have done that, then we're just going to log into our NSAW instance. And so there'll be a link here that you click, and then you actually create a new username here. So this is not going to be the same thing as your NetSuite username, which is kind of confusing. But let's just give it a second. Okay, and then this will be the page that we're greeted with. It's kind of the home page for NetSuite Analytical Warehouse. To set up the actual integration, we're going to come in here into Warehouse, and we're going to do two things. We're going to download this wallet file, and so if I come here and click Download, just give it a password, and then click Download. And then we're also going to reset our ADW credentials. This is actually the username and password that you'll use to connect to Domo. And so in this case, I'm going to change this to OAX user, and then you would put in a username, confirm the username, make sure you save those because that's actually what we're going to use on the Domo side, which can be a little confusing. But I'll walk through that right now, actually. So once you do that, you'd click Update, and then let's come in here and let's actually configure our NSAW connection. So in this case, I'll come over here to Oracle NetSuite, connect to NetSuite, and let's create a new account and just give it a name. And then I'm going to walk through this. So in this case, the wallet file is the auth method that we're doing, the username and password. So it says NetSuite username and password, but you actually want to use the OAX user that we had just done. So in this case, I'm just going to put in my OAX user. And now to get the host port and service name, we're actually going to get that from the thing that we just downloaded from the wallet. Before I do that, I'm actually going to get the NetSuite wallet file. So just come in here and I'm going to put in the wallet. It's this cwallet.sso that we downloaded. So we'll put that in there. And then finally, if we open up that file, there is this tnsnames.aura that we can open up. And this actually contains everything that we need for the rest of it. So in this case, connection, host, everything else, it's all in here. It's just going to be this big old string is going to be what you put in. And so I'm just going to do that real quick and then show you afterward. Okay, so the host will be some kind of domain like this. The port, it'll probably always be that guy. The service name is this big old long string that you'll find in the file. And then retry count, delay, as well as protocol. These will also probably all be the same. But in this case, we'll just say create account. And that'll create a new account. And then we'll also create a new cloud integration. And we'll just click create integration. That'll take a second to save. And then once you have added the integration, then we'll also go to integration overview. This is where we can actually connect our tables for the first time. And so NSAW automatically puts in lots of schemas to your database, but the most important one, and the one that I only use, is this OAX user one. which is the same schema name as our username. But this right here is actually where it's going to put all the NetSuite tables. And so it'll load up the tables that are available in my NSAW instance. And in this case, I can select things like customer, I could select invoices or sales orders, different things. And so in this case, right, I'll pull in my sales orders and my sales order lines and click connect. And then that'll create data sets, Cloud Amplifier data sets on the Domo side. And then I can go find those data sets just by coming to my data center. And if I want, I can look at this, and then just to make sure it's working properly, let's go look at our sales orders. And we see that it loads, which is great. Awesome. Cool. So that's, like I said, that's a high level overview of how to create this connection. There's a couple gotchas, and there's some learnings that I like to share along the way. The first is that if you want to sync custom fields over, you can actually do this by coming over here. And once you've synced it for the first time, you can come over here to data transfer setup. And this will be your functional areas. If I want to select a certain custom field, I can do so over here by clicking an edit button. So let's see, for example, like our order to cash, we can say, hey, edit, and it'll pop up the custom fields that are available in my instance of NetSuite. Awesome. So let's say I wanted to do, I wanted to see what my transaction custom fields are. These are all different custom fields. You can select them and add them to your data flow. So then we'll click next, and then we basically say, hey, transfer the data, and that'll begin the transfer initially, but then after that, it'll just be syncing automatically the custom fields over to NSAW. Another thing I learned is you can actually speed up the refresh rate of your NSAW integration. So by default, I think it is like a 24-hour refresh, which is a bit slow in my opinion. So if we want to, here in NSAW, we can come to enable features and actually increase the refresh rate. And so I think it's a preview feature. If I come here, it should be under data pipelines, I think. Yeah, pipeline features. So right here, there is this data prioritized refresh. This will be unchecked initially, but if you enable it, then you'll be able to come back here and actually update your pipeline. Once we've done that, we'll come over to data configuration. And with that feature enabled, we'll come to pipeline settings, and then you'll be able to update your data refresh schedule. You'll actually come to this frequent data refresh. This will be a new tab, and you can change this to be hourly. And then you can select what functional areas you want to be more timely. So this is super helpful. Like, let's say your customer table or invoice table were more important. You can select what you want to be, what you want to come over, click save, and then also authorize it. And so that's an easy way to speed up the refresh frequency for NSAW. The final thing is that it can be a bit tough. Like I said, to log in, you need your ADW username. And so if you actually look at your wallet file, there's this little README file that explains a little bit, but it gives you a link to actually log in to the SQL developer. And this is just to double check that your username and password is working properly. So if I come here, I can actually log in to, here. And so I actually got this username and password. I generated this by coming to this screen initially and resetting the password over here. So I can also reset credentials for admin, but I'm able to log into ADW. So let's just come in here and put in my password real quick. Sign in. This will be the ADW side. And so now if I'm over here, I can go look at my database users. I can also come in here and look at the SQL. So if I wanted to, I can come in and look at OAX user, that schema, and double check that things are coming over properly. And so that's also another useful tip. And I think that's about it. But yeah, many cool things to learn, but hope you found this helpful. Thanks.